Hello guys and welcome back to another episode. So today we're going to talk about Holy Priest PvE guide. So that means if you're playing Holy Priest or you're interested in Holy Priest, well, welcome to this guide. I'm going to learn you the basics of the Holy Priest, which of course I will go through all the changes from patch 8.0 to 8.1. That's quite a lot. The stats you need for both dungeons and raid, the Azerite traits I'm recommending, the talents I'm recommending, and tips and tricks for the gameplay. So after you have watched this guide, you should be probably, I would say, very comfortable playing Holy Priest, and you should know what to do like in the basic steps, and then of course it's up to you to build from that to the next step. So I'm not saying this is like a proof guide that will make you go into mythic raiding just after watching this guide. I'm just teaching you the basics of Holy Priest and what a Holy Priest should do. So, and from that on, it's up to you to decide what should happen then. So let's just dive directly into everything, and let's start with the changes from patch 8.0 to 8.1. So here you can see, poof, we got quite a lot of changes. So first of all, Holy Priest has an aura that you cannot see that you actually have on, but behind the scene they have an aura that helps all your healing. So right now, from this patch, from patch 8.0 to 8.1, spec aura increased from 36 to 40% healing. So that means pretty much all your healing spells is increased by 4%. And then you think, that is quite nice. I mean, that is a buff. Yeah, that is a buff, but they are also taking some numbers back now. For example, binding heal reduced from 75 to 67 spell power, and the mana cost is increased. Mana cost increased to 2.9 of your base mana. So you can see binding heal is getting nerfed, and the nerf here is more than 4%. So that is a nerf, and it costs more. So that is not a buff yet. Holy Word Salvation base healing reduced from 150 to 110. So that's also a little nerf. Renew healing increased from 20 to 23. So that is quite nice, because it both got the 20 to 23%, but it also got the 36 to 40. So the renew should now be more efficient in this patch. Benediction proc rate has been reduced from 30 to 25. That's how it is. Halo reduced from 110 to 103 spell power. Heal increased from 160 to 175 spell power. So you could say that our renew and our heal is kinda got a buff, and rest is, I think, in all because of all this 4%, I don't really think we will feel any big differences, but I'm still telling you the facts. The last one is Trail of Light reduced from 30% replicated heal to 35, but it now also works for heal. Before it was only flashlight, now it's also heal, so that's kinda nice. So this is all the changes from patch 8.0 to 8.1. So the next topic, if I look at the agenda, is the stats. So for raiding, you're going to focus on, of course, intellect. So now you probably say, yeah, I know it's intellect, but it's going to be intellect. So for example, if you get a trinket where you can either have intellect on it or mastery and it's same eye level, go with the intellect trinket, no matter what. Rest of your gear will no matter what have intellect, so that doesn't matter. After intellect, it's mastery, and now you probably say, why is it mastery? Because mastery does every time you use one of your healings, and Holy Priest have a lot of direct healing. So every time you heal someone, a percent of that healing you healed will heal on the target over some time now. So in a raid, you can imagine that when you heal a lot of people, they'll be healed all the time over time. So that is amazing. So in a raid, mastery is like number one. After mastery, it's critical strike, because critical strike helps your mastery. Every time your healing is critted, the mastery healing over time is also healing more. So you could say mastery and critical strike are both equal strong on raid, but those two are the most important one. After that it's versatility and haste, but it's not really been used for raiding. So for raiding as a holy priest you should just focus on mastery and critical strike. Also in dungeons, intellect is of course still number one. After that, because in dungeons you have breaks to drink all the time, you don't have to think about your mana. In raid you have to think about your mana, so that's why you want haste, mastery and crit, because you want your spells to heal over time and like save a little bit. But in dungeons you don't have time on bosses to just heal a little bit. You want to be like focused on healing a lot, and you don't care about your mana because you can just heal as much as you want. So in dungeons you should get intellect and then critical strike, because you just want those big numbers out. After that you want haste because it helps you on your global cooldown, and it also helps you on healing your healings faster, and it increases the tick rate of your renew, so that's pretty cool. After that it's versatility, but it's just because it increases your flat healing, and mastery is like you don't really need mastery that much in dungeons because it's just a little healing over time and it's not really helping anyone in the mythic dungeon. So this is the stats you need for different scenarios. And of course if you're playing and you both want to be strong in raid and dungeon, well then don't really focus on this. Just, I mean, of course go with intellect, and after that you should probably just go with mastery and critical strike, because you can see critical strike is like number one in dungeon, and also in raid mastery and critical is the same. So if you really don't want to have two different kind of stats, you should just go with critical strike and the mastery all the time. But else, this is the fact if you want to be best for raid or mid dungeons. This is the fact. So that was the changes and the stats. So now we're going to talk about the Azerite traits. I will start out with what is called the outer ring, and then I will begin with the middle ring. And no inner ring, because inner ring is just survivability, and you can choose that by yourself. So outer ring. So the first one I'm recommending is Blightborn Infusion, because it increases your critical strike. And again, as I said before, critical strike is like so important. The next one is Champion of Azerite, because it increases your secondary stats. So you can see your spell and ability have a chance to increase all your secondary stat by 28 for 60 seconds, stacking up to 4 times. So that's pretty cool. The only reason for why it's not number one is because Blightborn Infusion gives a lot of more critical strike. So that's the reason. But Blightborn Infusion is like number one, Champion of Azeroth is number two, and Swirling Sands is actually, I would say it's a shared second place, because it increases your critical strike also quite much. So, and as I said before, mastery and critical strike is like the most important you can get. So that is why for my outer ring I will recommend these 3 Azerite traits. For the middle ring, for the middle ring I'm recommending Blessed Potence. It has a really good synergy with Holy Priest. So let me explain, because not everyone is understanding it. So your healing spells have a chance to apply Blessed Potence for 20 seconds. When the ally falls below 50% health, Blessed Potence is consumed and instantly restore 3400 health. So basically what it means is every time you heal someone, you have a chance to put like this Holy Grail on his head, and when he gets below 50% health, he gets healed. And after he gets below 50% health, like on 41, all your healings have a chance to give this effect again. And that means, well, if he's already under 50% health, then it just instantly heals. So that is pretty cool. So every time you have someone you're healing under 50% health, it just heals a lot, like all the time, because it doesn't have to wait for 50% health. So you can say every time you have a tank under 50% health, you heal quite much more on him all the time. So I mean, that's like the opposite of execute. It's like execute healing. So the next one is concentrated mending. Your healing effects have a chance to grant the target 8 additional healing every second for 12 seconds. This effect doubles every second. And already now you have your mastery that increase the healing. So every time, for example, if I cast a heal on anyone, the masteries then seconds, it heals that target for a percent amount of the healing over that on the target. So if you have concentrated mending and your mastery together, they will heal him more over time. So if you like have renew on him, you heal him so he gets healing by mastery over time, and you have this concentrated mending, he has like 3 healing over time spells that is healing him. That is quite nice. I mean, in a raid, that would be so good. I mean, so good. It sounds so fun that I want to go raiding now with this spec. If you know what I mean. So that is pretty much the changes from 8.0 to 8.1, the stats that you need for Holy Priest, and the Azerite traits. So the next one is going to be the talents in the gameplay, and for that I'm going to switch over in the game screen. So I will just switch over, so be right back in 2 seconds. Okay, here we are on the game screen. So let's go through the talents. So I will be showing the talents off that you are going to use in dungeons and in raids. So keep in mind that as the stats, Holy Priestess have like 2 different specs. They have one for dungeons and one for raiding, because in raiding you are having a long fight and you're going to save mana. In dungeons you have short fights, but you're going to require much more instant healing. So let's go through each row and I will explain how the things is. So for the first row here, Enlightenment is recommended for raiding because it increases your mana regeneration, and you really need that in a long raid fight. Trail of Light is the most recommended one for dungeons because, well, it's just got buffed, so when you cast heal or flash heal, 30% of the healing is replicated to the previous target you healed with heal or flash heal. So that means if I heal someone else and then heal another one, then when I heal that other guy, the previous guy will also be healed for 35% of the healing I'm doing. And before this patch 8.1 it was only flash heal, but now it's also a heal. That is quite nice. So Trail of Light for dungeons, Enlightenment for raids. In the next row I'm pretty much recommending Angelic Feather in almost any scenarios. It's very nice for mobility and it helps you with a lot of running around. So definitely take that and you can help your team out also with this spell. For the next row, Cosmic Rebel is kinda my favorite in any situation, but I can't see, well, Cosmic Rebel is a must-have in raid, no matter what. Cosmic Rebel is no matter what a raid talent. Guardian Angel can be nice in dungeons, because when you cast Guardian Spirit, it has 3-minute cooldown and it saves the person. So if you use Guardian Spirit on anyone and he dies, it will help him and he will not die. He will be healed back to 40% of his health. Yeah. But Guardian Angel, if the target you cast a cooldown on him and it doesn't get used because he didn't die, then it removes 1 minute of the cooldown. So that means it will be on the target for 10 seconds. So if he doesn't die, I mean the cooldown will be then on 1 minute 50 seconds. So it kinda helps with the cooldown. So still it's only removing 1 minute cooldown from it, but it's still great. I mean, for dungeon purpose it's great, but in overall for myself recommended, I like to have Cosmic Rebel. But I can see in dungeons that Guardian Angel is more important because you have more like burst fights. And Cosmic Rebel is just a nice AoE healing that helps in a raid. Our next row, this is pretty much up to you. If you want to have a lower cooldown on your Scream, or if you want to have a stun, or if you want to have an AoE knockback. So for example, in some dungeons you can knock back a whole group and they also get interrupted by casting spells. This is pretty much up to you, but I like personally to have the stun in dungeons and also in raiding because it's quite nice. So I like to have the stun. On the next row, Circle of Healing is probably my favorite one for raiding. Binding Heal is also quite nice for raiding. I mean, if you use Binding Heal, you pretty much replaces the standard heal because Binding Heal is healing 3 persons in one time. Heals you, your target, and another friendly target within 20 yards for 5,000. That is pretty much the same as heal. Heal heals for almost 15,000, and Binding Heal is pretty much also healing for 15,000. It actually heals a bit more. So Binding Heal is pretty much replacing heal, and it's great for raiding, but it still costs a bit of mana, so you have to think about it when you also spam it. But again, personally me, I like to have Circle of Healing because I don't want to have this extra spell in my rotation. So Circle of Healing is 100% me in raid. For dungeons, Surge of Light is 100% recommended. It's really nice, and if you have like time for doing some extra damage with Smite, it can even proc more. But it's so nice in dungeons to have 2 instant flash heal that you can just use that doesn't have any cast time and it costs no mana. So dungeons, it's lovely. For the next row, Halo is the one I'm recommending for raiding. It's really cool and it heals a lot of people and it heals so much. But you have to talk with your raid if you're allowed to use this, because if you're going to interrupt or sheep a lot of mobs in a room and you use Halo, you kind of break the sheep if you're too close to them, because it has 30 yards range. Divine Star, 100% recommending for dungeons. It gives nice healing and nice damage also, so you're kind of helping your team. So Divine Star for dungeons, Halo for raiding. If you're not allowed to use Halo in the raid because you're going to sheep or something, use Benediction in raiding instead. For the last row, Holy Word Salvation is the one I will recommend for raiding in pretty much any scenarios. It's a really cool cooldown and it saves the whole team. I mean, when you use this spell here, no one will die. I mean, you pretty much heal everyone, so it heals everyone in for 40 yards. It heals for, let me see, heal all allies within 40 yards for 9,000 and applies Renew and 2 stacks of Prayer of Mending to each of them. I mean, it's such an amazing healing. It has a long cooldown, but every time you use one of your holy words, it's reduced the cooldown of 30 seconds, so it's kind of fair. So really nice healing spell for raiding only. In dungeons, I'm much more into Putios. Enter Pure Holy Form for 20 seconds, increasing the cooldown reduction of your holy words by 300 and reducing the cost by 100. So that pretty much says that the cooldown of your holy words is reduced. So that means when you can use this one here in 20 seconds, you can use Holy Word Celerity and Holy Word Sanctify a lot of times. I mean, so many times you can use it, because every time you use one of your spells that would lower the cooldown, it pretty much get rid of it ASAP. So for 20 seconds you can just cast instant healings and AoE healings. So for dungeons, Apogeos is such a nice one. Holy Word Salvation is the one I recommend for raiding. If you don't want to have any of these 2 active spells because you think they are too hard to play with, Light of Neru is making the whole Holy Priest rotation much easier, and the synergy is better. It's not the recommended one, but if you just want to have an easy life and you just want to don't think about these 2 cooldowns and you just want to be chilling and healing everyone well, Light of Neru is the one for you. But else, if you want to be 100% optimized, dungeon, raid, chilling. So yeah, so that is pretty much the talents for Holy Priests. So let's go to the gameplay. So it's kind of hard, it's not like the DPS, you cannot show the rotation or the opener of what you're going to do, but I can just try to explain the gameplay of a Holy Priest and what you should aim for. So let me just move, because this guide here is going to interrupt my screen 100 times. So let's stand here. Awesome. So first of all, I want to talk about mastery. So all my direct healing spells your direct healing spells heal for an additional 25% over 6 seconds. So that means if I use my flash heal, it will also heal me over 6 seconds for 25% of the healing. This is pretty much what you're reliable. So in dungeons, in raids, this is pretty much your healing. That every time you spam heal anyone, you'll heal them for a lot of that healing, and this is pretty much what is good for you. In dungeons, you're much more critical focused, but again, it's a nice thing. So mastery and crit is like your 2 main stats, and they will help you. Also, as Holy Priest, you have this one here, so when you die, you actually becomes a ghost for 15 seconds, and you can spam heal your whole team in those 15 seconds. So if you're close to wiping, and the boss only have like 5% health, you can still heal for those 15 seconds. So it's quite cool. After that, what I really recommend as a Holy Priest is holding up Renew on everyone that takes damage. So every time anyone is taking like 10, 20, 30% damage of the total health, just give them a Renew as the first thing, because the cool thing about Renew is that it heals the target, but it also touches your mastery. So you can see when I use my Renew on myself, I also get my Renew in my mastery healing. So that actually means I'm putting 2 healing over time spells on me, because when you cast Renew on anyone, it deals instantly 1900 damage, and then 25% of that is going to be healed over 6 seconds. So Renew actually gives 2 healing over times. No one is really thinking about that, but I mean, not no one, but you know what I mean. A lot of people is probably not thinking about that Renew actually gives 2 healing over time ability, like at the moment. It's quite cool. It's really cool. So the first thing I would do every time I see someone taking low damage is pop them up with a Renew. Also, Renew is actually reducing the cooldown on Holy Word Sanctifier. So another important thing is that you have your 3 Holy Words. You have your Holy Word. If you're talented Censor, it actually stuns the target and deals great damage. Then you have your Holy Word Sanctified. You can select an area and it heals the area for quite much. I mean, it's 14,000 up to 6 allies for the located area. But the problem with these spells are they have a long cooldown. So for example, for this AoE healing Sanctify, cooldown reduced by 6 seconds when you cast Prayer of Healing and 2 seconds when you cast Renew. So that is why Renew is actually quite a nice spell, because it reduced the cooldown on this AoE spell. So if I put Renew on this guy, and Renew on this guy, and Renew on this guy, you can just see that the cooldown is just falling very fast. It's already soon ready. And if you want it to be very soon ready, you can basically just cast Prayer of Healing and it reduces 6 seconds of the cooldown, and now it's already ready. That is quite cool. Also, we have, like my favorite one, we have Holy Word Serenity. The cool thing about that one is it instantly heals someone 40,000. Now it actually critted 83,000, and you can see my mastery right now is healing me for 10,000 every second. That is amazing. So Holy Word Serenity is healing 40,000 instantly, and your mastery love that spells because it heals a lot of healing over those 6 seconds. It's amazing. So Holy Word Serenity is reduced by heal and flash heal. So that means every time I use my flash heal or I use my heal, it reduces the cooldown of Serenity by 6 seconds, and then I pretty much can already use it again. You can see now I can already use it again, and boom. It's quite cool, and your mastery is loving it. Non-crit 6,000 every second. Amazing. It's amazing. So always the first thing I see, if someone is taking damage, I cast Renew on them. Every time someone needs healing and it's low healing, don't use Flash Heal. Flash Heal costs too much mana and it heals not very much. Flash Heal is like emergency. You see this guy, he's close to dying. It only takes 1.4 seconds to use it. Well, use Flash Heal if it's emergency. But if it's not an emergency and he still have 50% health, just use Heal, because Heal takes a long time to cast, but it costs less mana and it heals for a lot more. So Heal is like the healing that you're going to use. So again, if that guy is losing health, I would cast a Renew on him and begin to cast Heal on him, because then you will never go out of mana. That's like mana saving. If he begins to take a lot of damage, I would cast Serenity on him, like 40k damage, the healing instantly. Then I would begin to cast Heal again to reduce the cooldown of Serenity. If he still go emergency down in healing, I would spam my Flash Heal on him then, because Flash Heal is fast and you can see how fast it goes. And my Serenity is already ready now. And remember to hold up your Renew on the target all the time while he's taking damage, because Renew is still helping you quite much. So it's a good spell. It's a really good spell. Also, we have Prayer of Mending. Prayer of Mending is not a spell you're going to use if he's close to die. Prayer of Mending is healing very little bit, and it costs mana. So Prayer of Mending is like, okay, everyone is having good health, everyone is having like 80% health. What should I do? Okay, I will use a Prayer of Mending. Prayer of Mending is only something you use when everyone is like stable and not close to dying, because Prayer of Mending is not going to rescue or help anyone, not in the good way. Prayer of Mending is like the thing you use like in a raid or in a dungeon where everyone is like, I'm fine, everyone is fine. In a raid you can use it whenever you want, but in a dungeon you should only use it if everyone is like fine. You should never use Prayer of Mending in like an emergency. If you don't know what Prayer of Mending is doing, it's basically putting a buff on that guy. When he gets damage, it heals him for 2500 and it jumps to the nearest party member, and now it will do the same effect for him, and it jumps 5 times. If you have this talent here, it has a chance to give renew on the target. So, just for information. So again, renew, heal for like good healing, and serenity if he's close to dying, flash heal if he's emergency and we have to heal fast. Guardian Spirit, if you think, okay, he's going to die now, then cast Guardian Spirit, because if he dies, he'll be healed back to 40% health. So use Guardian Spirit if you like, okay, I will never be able to heal that guy full up now. Guardian Spirit, boom, he will be healed up to 40% health if he dies. So, I mean, that's a cool thing. That's a really cool thing. Also, keep in mind that if your talent is Censure, you can stun people. So if you have like a trash mob that is dealing a lot of damage, well, stun him. So stun him so you can like get 4-second break for taking damage. It's really great. You also have your fear, so if you want to fear mobs, you can fear them and they will be feared. But be aware that they can be feared around and take aggro. You also have your mind control, but it's kind of dangerous to use mind control because while you use mind control you cannot heal anyone else, so it's like, do you really want to risk that? Also, if you get aggro, you can use Fate, so then it lowers your threat. You can also dispel magic, so dispel magic on enemy targets, removing 1 beneficial magic effect. So if the target like have a shield that has a lot of damage protection, you can remove that, like boom, removed. Also, if you're going to heal a raid, everyone is taking damage, it's very like important, you need to heal anyone. Well, you have either Divine Hymn that is going to heal a lot, so heals all party or raid members within 40 yards for 18,000 for 7 seconds, increase healing done to them by 10% for 8 seconds, healing increased by 100 while not in a raid. That's like Tranquility for druids. So if anyone in your raid is going to die, you will pop up Divine Hymn. Also, if you're talented, you also have Holy Word Salvation, so that's pretty much doing the same, like also rescuing everyone. And also you have your Holy Word Sanctify, and you can spam Prayer of Healing. So a lot of healers is pretty much, I would say, jelly, because they don't have Prayer of Healing, that you can pretty much just spam it and heal the whole raid. And it costs mana, yeah, but it's not that bad. It's not really that bad, because now I can use my Holy Word Sanctify again. So I would say definitely Holy Priest is one of the strongest healers in AoE healing in a raid, 100%. If you don't have any healing to do, you can pretty much spam Smite. It doesn't cost anything, I mean nothing, it's just a spell. If your talent Surge of Light, it can actually make your next flash heal instant cast and cost no mana. Also keep in mind you have your Holy Fire and it deals damage over time, and it's like a damage buff. But keep in mind, if you're like losing mana and you really have like a mana problem, never use Holy Fire, because Holy Fire actually costs 1000 mana, and that's like half renew. So you should probably not use Holy Fire if you're like in mana problems, so stay away from that. You also have your Holy Nova. It heals so little. I mean, it's like it heals everyone in for the next 12 yards, but it's like it heals so little, so I would never really recommend using it. Another cool thing is that we have Symbol of Hope, and it actually restoring 2% of maximum of missing mana every second for 6 seconds to everyone in 40 yards. So if you use Symbol of Hope, you're pretty much giving mana to yourself and everyone in your raid. It's really a nice support spell. Also keep in mind that you have Purify, dispel harmful effects on the target, removing all magic and disease effects. So that's of course something you can cast on your party members. If someone is standing in fire and they're not moving, you also have Leap of Fate. I'm not able to cast it on anyone here, but Leap of Fate is like dragging them from that location to your location. So I know I'm pretty much just going over the spells, but I mean, I'm not really able to say anything. I cannot give you a rotation on how to do the best damage because it's a healer spec. So again, what I recommend is if I see that guy here, he's the tank, I would put a renew on him, make sure he's not dying. I would use heal if he still has like over 50% health. If he gets under 50% health, I would probably use a Serenity. And after that, I will use healing again. And if he's going low again fast, I will probably use a Flash Heal instead, because Flash Heal is faster, but it costs more mana and it heals less. So Flash Heal is like only emergency. And then always keep Renew on him, always. Only use Prayer of Mending if like everyone is okay and not close to die. Use your Holy Words Sanctifies if like it's really good healing if he needs an instant healing. Like even on single target it's quite cool, because if that guy needs an instant healing and he just needs it now, you can also use them. But just keep in mind that it costs quite much mana, so you should not just play with it for fun. Holy Word Serenity is also costing a lot of mana, but if you need an instant healing, you need an instant healing. And I mean, in dungeons you don't have to think about your mana because you can just drink all the time. In raids you probably have to think a little bit about it, but still not that much. So that must be all the gameplay tips I can give from the Holy Priest. I mean, it's not much more than, another thing, you remember to keep up your buff. You have like a buff you can use that gives everyone in the raid 10% stamina, so you probably know that, but now keep it up. So that was pretty much the Holy Priest guide. That was the changes, the stats, the Azerite, the talents, and the gameplay. So you should now be pretty comfortable playing Holy Priest and knowing what stat and what talents and which spells you should use. So leave down a comment, and cheers if you like this guide and if it was helpful. Leave down a like if you liked it, leave down a comment if you have any questions about this guide or if you just want to say hello. Also leave a comment if you have any suggestion on which guide I'm going to create next time. I am listening in the comments, I'm reading every single comment and I'll try to really reply also on every comment. So thank you guys for watching, and well, leave down a comment if you have any questions or suggestion for next guide, and well, like the video if you liked it. So again, thanks guys for watching and cheers.